So just want to thank everybody for being here and thank Aiko for being our facilitator. This is his first one that he has been facilitating, and so without
Great job,
that, thanks, man. I just wanted to give everybody else here that might not be as familiar with our programs a little background. Sorry. So the College of Business and the Institute for Entrepreneurship were really gracious this last year and a half for helping to support programs like Startup Weekend. And the whole goal of this is to get people from all different backgrounds and majors on campus and in the community together to work on things. And so I think that's definitely a testament to that this weekend. We had some people from IBM that came out and we're looking to try some new things and I don't know, launch the next Apple or something. I don't know what you guys are doing. And we had a lot of other students from CS and engineering, which we usually don't have. And so that's awesome. And thank you for everybody that came out from some of the other programs that we don't have as much representation from. And so I was going to call up Stein Christensen next. And Stein and Cody, if Cody wants to talk too, Stein and Cody have been two entrepreneurs and students the last 3 years at CSU. And I'll let them tell you the story.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Do I have to? Oh, thank you. You're making me blush. Do I have to use this, or can I start by dropping the mic?
Do not drop the mic.
Okay. Do I have to use it? Yeah, you can use it. Okay. All right. Well, you guys hear me fine? Sounds good. All right. Well, I just want to start by saying this whole thing is incredible. I'm a senior now. We're both seniors. When we first came here to right here, you look good. My mom see me? Keep going.
In this space.
Right on.
We're live streaming.
Cool.
This is
All
on
right.
the internet. We're going out to the world.
Check that out. 21st century is blowing my mind. Anyway, so yeah, when I first came here as freshmen, when we both came here as freshmen, we both wanted to dive into the entrepreneurship community here, and it's been outstanding since the minute we arrived. The support network of teachers and mentors and other students really trying to get this community going here in Fort Collins has honestly just been outstanding. So I'd love to give just a huge thank you to the people who put on this program, as well as the judges for being here tonight and Z Catering. So why don't we just give them a round of applause, because this whole thing can't happen without them. But in any case, so a little bit about us. So we currently have launched a company called Park-It, and we're the Airbnb of event and student weekly parking. And much like yourselves, we started in programs much like this a couple years ago, walked into the Entrepreneurship Institute and said, I really want, just like yourselves, like I want to start a company. I don't like the corporate world. We're all feeling this pain, you know. And so it's kind of evolved from there. We did 3DS. James in the back there brought this kind of idea and concept to Fort Collins, so also a huge thank you to him. He's part of the reason why this kind of community is existing in Fort Collins. He brought this kind of full force to our community, which is awesome. And yeah, since then we went through the program, learned a lot of these concepts. Cody, he ended up launching his company, LaborJack, which I'm sure he'll tell you about. I didn't continue on with the company I was a part of in this program, but I learned a lot, and the concepts that we learned in this program have helped me fail in 2 other companies and move on to this one. So, but the concepts are the same. So even if you guys don't end up sticking with these companies, I guarantee you these minutes and hours you've spent with your teams this weekend, I use in every single part of my life, and it is so fantastic. But in any case, yeah, Cody, would you like to kind of tell them about your experiences?
Yeah, so my name's Cody, also a senior as well, graduating this December. So it's been really fun going through the entrepreneurship community here in Fort Collins the last 3 years. I've definitely learned a lot. I've learned that you really need to just put yourself out there and go to any event that you can. I came into college knowing that I didn't want to go corporate, but I also had no idea what I wanted to do within the startup world. I didn't have any ideas of my own, and luckily, like he was saying, or Stein was saying, James put on 3-Day Startup, what was that, 2 years ago? I got involved with a company called LaborJack, which is a similar Uber model for labor. I went along with that for about 1.5 years. I actually just stepped down recently to start working on a company that Stein was talking about called Park-It, the Airbnb of parking. So we just help people with underutilized driveway space near events and college campuses, rent it out to students and people going to those events. So it's been really fun. We do have some fun expansion plans coming up. We're both graduating here in December, and we're planning on taking a cross-country road trip to bring our idea across to many universities. But yeah, it's just been a great experience so far, and definitely take in every single thing you can. Go to every event you can, and yeah, I'll always love Fort Collins for sure. It's gonna be home.
That's for sure. That's for sure. But in any case, I have to end this with a shameless plug. If you have any driveway spaces next to the university, come talk to us. Check us out on www.parkit.market. You can list that space and start making a bunch of money, at least enough money to put beer on the table for you and your roommates.
Make game time a little more fun.
Absolutely. But also, if you're coming up for CSU football games, we all love the Rams up here, even though they lost last night to Wyoming. We still love our football team. If you're coming up to the games, check us out, parkit.market. We take the hassle out of game day parking by you being able to reserve your space in advance online. That space is yours when you get there. You're free to come and go as you please. But anyway, huge thank you to everyone in this room, because we're all building this community of entrepreneurship here in Fort Collins. And yeah, let's bring this place to its feet. Thank you.
I just want to thank Stein, and actually I wanted to give a little shout out to the organizers real quick too. So there's Ben, who has been involved in this program for almost 2 years now, helping do this stuff, and he's graduating this year, so it's gonna suck because everybody helping do this is a senior. And then there's Riley, and Riley works for the Institute for Entrepreneurship, and she worked at the UFC this summer. And then James back there was the one that helped bring the first hackathon like this to Fort Collins, and then we have Cody and Stein, who have been involved in our programs the whole time too. So.
And Mark. Yeah.
And Mark.
And we are almost ready to start. And then there's this guy Aiko that I'm going to introduce. He's ready,
Yeah, I guess I'm ready.
and he's taking from here. So thank you guys.
Hey everyone, I'm Aiko Cheslin. I was lucky enough to win an event similar to this that started my company. I've done a bunch of hackathons, and I cannot tell you how great it is to do these events. It is so hard to find people who are as passionate and driven as the people here this weekend. The amount of work that you get done in this weekend is just insane. It's incredible what you can do with a sense of purpose. So I'm going to wind it down a little bit and go back. Trash. Make sure you find a trash can. I think we have some by the back doors. I was a little heads down, so I didn't get a chance to really find one. Wi-Fi. Turn off the Wi-Fi on your phone. We're live streaming, and just any little bit of internet is going to help us. So please turn off your Wi-Fi. And then where are restrooms?
Straight down the hall.
Straight down the hall, left, right?
Right.
On the right. So if you need to find a restroom, feel free to pop out. We're going to be recording this, so you'll be able to grab it if you missed a little piece somewhere in the presentation. So this event, when I set this up in Denver to do Denver New Tech, this same setup takes me 8.5 hours, and we did it here in an hour and a half with this team. I'd like to thank all the organizers for bending over backwards and being extremely diligent to help me set this setup up. It seems ridiculous that it takes this long to set up an event, but it really is hard work. So I wanted to share a little bit about myself. I have a unique name, I Company. I'm the AI Artificial Intelligence Knockout. So yeah, it's cheesy. It's really cheesy. But I was blessed with a girl's name. I didn't know it until I was 12. But when my brother found out, he gave me a really nice nickname called Plum Petal Princess. So if you ever want to really rib me in a public setting, just call me Plum Petal Princess. It goes back to my Japanese roots. I'm not Japanese, but I have a Japanese girl's name. It means beloved one or love child. I'm the Princess of Japan. So, you know, I'm of the same cloth as royalty. I really want to thank our judges for helping us out, Kent and Emily.
Hey.
Yeah. Thank you for providing food and space. You would not believe how hard those two things are outside of all the other stuff. Those things are some of the most daunting tasks to make this event happen, and without you, this wouldn't happen tonight. Thank you again.
It was our pleasure.
I want to also thank our coaches and mentors. It was so nice. I went around and did some video interviews with everyone, and all everyone could talk about was the mentors. It was mentors this, mentors that, the great experiences, the insights, the market, understanding our market, building beautiful slides. The slides, oh my, the slides got so much better once mentors dropped in. So again, I really want to thank them for taking time out of their weekend to go do this. So let's give them a moment and a hand. So for the people who haven't been to one of these before, these events are happening all over the planet, somewhere around 300 a year. So there's 350K of us spread around the world. There's 12,000 organizers. So what we did this weekend has been replicated by 12,000 other people around the world, and we've been in 1,300 cities. Isn't that crazy? Like, that's just crazy to me. And you can go online and go to Startup Weekend, and they have a little map, and you can see where all the events that are happening this week are. So if you ever just like decide to quit your job and want to go somewhere, quit your job, go fly somewhere and attend a Startup Weekend. It's a great way to see the world. So we're going to go over the judging criteria. What we're really focused on is the validation of the idea. Did they reach out to people? Did they actually talk to someone? Is this just an app that they made for the sake of making it? Engineers going to engineer? Or did they actually go out and figure out what they need? Execution. How much of it did they get done? Did they design it well? Execution and design are very important. It's a sign of a quality product. If it doesn't look good, people just think it's junk. It doesn't matter what it costs. And their business model. How are they going to make money? How are they going to grow? Where are they going to target their efforts? So, we're going to do 5-minute pitches with 5 minutes of Q&A. So we've got a little Twitter handle there. It'd be great if you guys could tweet. I know I told you to turn off your Wi-Fi, but use your data plans. Yeah. So we're going to have our teams on deck kind of hanging out over here just so that we can keep a nice flow. But I've got a nice interstitial slide so you'll see a really big indicator that it's your time to get on stage. Yeah, so I think we're going to get going pretty soon. So up first, we have Adventure, who's going to be on deck right over here. Yes, over here. Followed by Hydromate, and then Knowledge Pool, and finally, oh, please. Doyen. Tongue twisters. Tongue twisters. It's always the tongue twisters. So with that, we're going to queue up our timer. We're going to take a brief, like 1-minute intermission to make sure that we're all set to give our presenters the best chance to do a great job. All right, 1 clap, 2 claps, 3 claps. Full attention, I've got it, yay. Yeah. There you go, on the X.
Hi there, I'm Satya, and today my team and I are here to pitch about an idea called Adventure. So we are all in Colorado. Like you recently moved to Colorado. You have this great idea of spending your weekends in one of the campsites, or you want to go backpacking, but then you want to have a preference like to fish, and then your children want to hammock, and then there you're left stranded because you don't know what exactly or where exactly you need to go to have all these activities. Okay, so that is one issue. And later you spend a lot of hours researching, and then you decide where to go. But then again, when you're actually setting up and then when you are on the road, you then realize that, okay, so I just forgot to download the map. That is another issue. And what if you reach the place pretty safely without getting eaten by a bear or a lion, and then there you are and think, okay, children, come on, let's all sit on a hammock, and then you realize you forgot to bring a hammock and smokes, and there you are, there all day, just sitting and watching the river. So to address these issues, we have, what is that?
Who hit? Someone hit something. Dun dun dun.
You hit the mute
Sorry,
button.
my bad.
You
Just
hit
give
the
me a
mute button on the control.
Yeah. I told you there's a button that just makes it shut itself off.
My bad. So the problems are very much wasted time and frustration, undiscovered sites with high potential. By this I mean that you know that there are a lot of websites out there which give you very good information about where to go, but then you just don't know where to find them. And then, like me, there are forgetful campers, and there are many undiscovered activity locations you would like to check, because I always end up going to the same Hosted Reservoir I went the last month. And so the scope in here, there's a lot of scope, because there are 40 million campers in US every year, and 22 million are below the age of 35. 18 to 35-year-olds generate 55% of the revenue, and we see that 185.3 million national forest visitors are there. You can go over the statistics later, but I'm just saying. So the solution is the app. The app's name is Adventure. It's subject to change, but then again, I'm just saying. So it comes into picture where you get personalized recommendations. Like I love camping, so I want to go to camping at certain places with my cost, location, and activity preferences. So I get all those, and like the trump card is you get recommendations for users based on their needs, and it encourages users to discover new places, so you don't end up going to the same place every week or every month. And users can share pictures and experiences through the app. So this is social media integrated, so you can just pop in Instagram, Snapchat. I hate Snapchat though. Instagram and Facebook and photos through the app. So this is a video. It takes 1 minute time, but then again, this is the process explained. And then if you get started, you can select your preferences, and then they just show up at the bottom. Cost, location, party size, like there could be many people showing up, and this is how the recommendations will look like. The pictures of different locations in the same location. And then this is what is something cool, because you get an itinerary which has a list of items you would like to see, like you would like to take away, so that you have a checklist, and then you wouldn't forget what to take back when you go to the camping site. And this itinerary also has a downloaded map, so you wouldn't be stranded all alone on one of the roads. So this is just a mock peek. And then this is how the market is divided, like 16 to 35-year-olds make up 38% of the 40 billion annual US campus, and so the app can be used by 22 million likely users, and this is just the number of people who camp, because we want to be vertical specific as of now, but there's a lot of potential in backpacking, RV, trailer, and there are many activities which I even don't know of. So the market validation this is how it goes up. 90% of the respondents camp at least once a year. This is the survey which we did. So, and then 90% wanted an app which would help them in planning, and 79% admitted to spending more than an hour planning for a trip and then ending up forgetting things. This is pretty much the same, sorry. So the path to market is, like, the users can share pictures and experiences, there are updates about different campsites, we strike deals with recreational domains, coupons and tickets will always be there so that the campus will be aware of the hot deals in the market. We do merchandising, but that's still on the papers. We need to talk a lot about that, but then again. And then advertising to Facebook, Instagram, and other popular social websites will always be there. So the revenue will be generated through Google Ads,
Thank you.
downloadable ads, and in the future, downloadable ads.
get into Q&A. Missed a couple, if that's all right.
Yep.
From the judges.
Okay, going through the judging criteria here.
Mhm.
So if money and resources were not a barrier, what improvement would you make to your product? And then also, what team member would you bring on board to help you reach your goals?
If there weren't a problem,
Oh, so if money and
yeah,
resources
I got the
weren't.
question. I was
yeah,
thinking
yeah.
I would just get a mic, but it's okay. If there weren't a problem, we would not make this vertical specific because as of now, we are just thinking about campsites. But then there is also a lot of potential in backpacking, in RVing, trailing, and many other activities which we haven't covered because that's a lot of data. And as of now, with what we can pull off, we just concentrated on camps and campsiting. Yeah.
And then as for who we would add on, we would obviously need a coder to program the app and bring it to life.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Hi, did you do beta test and did you get out and talk with customers?
We talked with a few customers, but then again, we didn't do beta testing.
All of our customer knowledge came from the survey that we put out that we showed you the statistics for, but that was about it.
Okay, where were those customers from?
So we just made the survey and sent it out to our like social medias and stuff so that we could get people to respond to it.
Mike, questions?
So we got a couple more minutes. We'll open it up.
Could you guys talk to me a little bit more about your revenue plans?
Yeah. Can we have that slide? Okay.
All right.
Okay,
I'll let it go. You can have your revenue slide.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a revenue slide as well. Like we would make it a free app or a freemium app where we would have ads if people don't pay for them, or there wouldn't be many ads, and then there wouldn't be ads as such, and there would be other unlocked options if they pay for it. And then Google Ads with AdSense is already there because I've been an Android user for many years, and then I know how Google Play works. They generally put out Google Ads with AdSense, which is pretty much machine learning. So that would generate revenue, and then the other one would be downloadable ads, where when you go offline, you would still see ads. Yeah, that's an option. And then in the future, we would plan to use direct advertising and recommendations. Like, so when we actually go strike deals with gas stations or grocery stores to get them on our map, we would definitely have money generating to them because they would be seen on our app, and then we would get money because they are pretty much seen.
What's your go-to-market strategy and how would you grow your user base?
Okay, so when we were confused about how we reach out to them, Doug pretty much made us clear as to what to do. He wanted us to go vertical specific, so that's the reason we want to first hit on campsites, especially in Colorado, and see how it fares because Colorado has been one of the most visited tourist places in the whole of US. And then if it's pretty good and we receive good responses, we would jump back to other domains and see how it would fare out at the end. Yeah.
Thank you. Who are your competitors?
Okay. Do I have this clicker? Okay, there you go. Yeah, the RV parks and campgrounds is our main competitor because it's the only app which makes sense out there, both in iOS App Store and Google Play Store. Because it has been the sought after app, and then it's close to 100,000 downloads. But then again, its UI pretty much sucks because. Can I get to the next slide? Oh, yeah. No. The next one. Forget it. We put up like 3 pictures which show how bad the UI is. So there were a few reviews which said we would be liking the app if it would have more good user experience and user interface, and that is where our app comes in. Tyler came up with a pretty good user interface design. We most probably embed that. So
It looks great. It's great.
yeah, thank you so much. Any other questions?
One more question.
One more question from last question.
Do you have, what additional value do you add over your competition?
Okay.
20 seconds.
Okay, so this one doesn't have social media integration, it doesn't have preferences option, so I'm just there because it's purely informational and not functional, wherein you get a lot of sites thrown at your face, but you don't know what exactly to select.
Also, it only gives you like the location. We're gonna have a lot more information, like
Thank you,
what you need
guys.
to bring and stuff like that.
All right, HydroMate, we got you up on deck. Perfect.
This one's advanced, isn't it?
You go.
Okay. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us tonight. We are HydroMate. The problem that we're trying to solve is basically plant dying, typically due to human. You might be familiar with some of these problems yourselves. We identified some of the ways that plants tend to die out. We're looking at water issues, nutritional issues, fertilizer, and general neglect. So we put out a survey yesterday through social media networks, and with 28 responses, I'll just kind of run down some of the insights that we were able to pick up there. 100% of those surveyed said yes, it would be beneficial to have a automated watering system for your plants. We asked if they would be if they would want to have a app to be able to control and automate some of these processes. 71.4 said yes, 28.6 maybe, didn't get any no's. Apps are all the rage, right? And again, we asked when someone's going on vacation, if they hire someone to take care of their plants. What we saw was 67.9% said no. And that means there's a bunch of neglected plants, basically. And what was surprising for us to find was that it was about 40% of those surveyed were willing to pay between $75 and $150 for a top-tier plant automation and watering system. And that kind of brings me to a personal story of mine, actually. My neighbor and I, we have an agreement. If either one of us is going on vacation, we'll kind of take care of each other's stuff. We kind of came to a point where actually both of us are going to be out of town and didn't really have anyone to take care of our plants, our animals, and all that. So I got to thinking, well, what is out there? You know, what can I use besides another person? So we kind of got to doing some research on what kind of products were available. There's kind of low-end products that you'd see between the price point of $5 and $50 that had pretty low sales and low reviews. I'm not really going to kind of trust plants that I care about to those types of products. So we shifted over to look at some of the higher price point products like $100, $200 products to see what was available on the market. And these actually had a lot of sales and a lot of good reviews. But for that price point, what are you really getting? A lot of these are just kind of timer-based, pretty simple for, in my opinion, to what the prices were. So we came through and got a little proof of concept prototype done this weekend. So basically, the water runs out. Sorry about that, but yeah. So basically, what you saw was you have a soil moisture sensor in there, and it just pumps the water until your needs are met, basically for the plant. And again, because apps are all the rage, we wanted to try and integrate some type of friendly user interface. So basically what you'd get in the app is kind of like your water trend data, how much water is left in your tank at your current rate usage, how much time do you have left before you got to refill it, and then what each of your plant profiles are in your pot. So basically you'd have tomatoes in one pot, you know, maybe a coleus or something. Each one has a different watering profile, so you could actually set that per plant. And after kind of looking at some material costs and what some of the sensor costs were, we were trying to nail this down at a price point of $150 for the for retail market price. Some of our target market would be
30 to 50-year-olds, a lot of people that are kind of well established in their careers, maybe more willing to buy into that. That might be on the wave of home automation. And perhaps like businesses that are trying to maintain a nice plant environment maybe in their lobbies. Once we kind of get a good stream of, once we get some good products coming in and basically a good sourcing, we wanted to try and move through Amazon Launchpad as a channel to get some products sold. And then once we get a little bit more established, work our way into some trade shows like home and garden type venues. So our plan after Startup Weekend is to kind of pair up with some marketing experts to try and match us to our target market.
That's time.
Thank you. Yes.
Hello, all three of you.
Hello.
So, what makes you and your co-founders good partners?
Yeah, I think we just have a very diverse skill set. Our friend Alex here, he was able to really set up the mechanicals of this. He has an engineering background, which is really cool. Will and I are also involved in the entrepreneurship program here. We take entrepreneurship classes as well, have business backgrounds. So we were able to actually work with him and set up a good business model. He was really aware of how that all works. So I think we were able to just bring different parts and just different unique benefits to the team.
That's what I was wondering about those different parts, because I was wondering what was more difficult between the app and the sensor to figure out how you wanted to implement and to get it to work how you wanted to.
Right. So currently he is the brains for sure for the mechanical. He's able to make that working prototype for us, but we are still working to find an app developer. That was kind of a design that we'd like to shoot for. But right now, we're currently looking for that app designer to really push that to the next level.
Were there themes or topics that you all tended to disagree on?
I guess at first we were kind of thinking that we were going to be business facing. So we were thinking we're just going to strictly business to business selling, going to more, not so much the homeowners. But so I guess we all kind of agreed and disagreed that business facing maybe wasn't the right option for us. So we did a pivot for sure, and we agreed that the move would be to reach homeowners and kind of we overlooked homeowners in the beginning for sure, and then we kind of pivoted and moved.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Have you explored any other ways to take care of the plants as far as like sunlight and so forth? That's part of your plans, like ultraviolet light or?
Oh, like a full grow system?
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely a direction that we could move in, but as far as this particular product, it's not, I guess, integrated.
Is this going to be developed as a plug-and-play system where people will receive it, just plug it in, put the sensor in, and
exactly. Its simplicity is definitely the driving factor. So basically, it'll come out with like a reel of tubing, and then you'll route it to wherever you need your plants to be, and then you just put it into a junction, and that's where it goes to where your plant is. So you just cut custom lengths of tubing to fit your need.
Okay. Any other questions?
So you talked about $100 to $200 range when you were looking at competitors, right? Is that what this slide said? So I mean, that's a really big range.
Right.
100 to 200, and then the price that you threw out was 150.
Right.
And you maybe said this in the presentation, but remind me again or explain why that price point when the competitors were 100 to 200.
Absolutely. So there's a wide selection of different suppliers that can give you different value for, like, say, printed circuit boards. Every one of these is going to need it, and it really kind of depends on quantity. And the chips are really cheap. In all honesty, what we found out was the highest cost would be have like the housing basically in a water tank, which is
and we just felt
surprising.
after finding the cost of materials that that was the most comfortable price that we could put to make our margins, to make us a profitable business. And also just after finding that the market was purely based on that $100 to $200 range, that those are the most successful home watering systems. We definitely want to put our price point somewhere in between that range, and we felt that 150 was a nice happy medium between, and could help us get more traction in the market.
All right, thanks. Going back there.
Last
So you-
question.
So you guys mentioned that your initial target customer would be people aged like 35 to 50, right, in urban areas.
Yeah.
Has there been any discussion into, even within that target market, who could be that early adopter within your target market segment?
I think it'd be a lot of people that are already into home automation, and they maybe have already got the smart lights, and maybe some like Nest or something. There's no really name that you can associate brand name wise of like, oh, they do plant watering automation systems, right? So kind of like, oh, hey, I know a company that can automate that thing for you too. You know, I think that would be like our early adopter.
That's time.
Thank you, guys. I'll have to introduce you to Rachio. They were a Techstars company that made automated sprinkler systems.
Okay, so we got the inside, they got the outside. Thanks,
you.
everyone.
All cool. So how's everyone doing? Enjoying yourselves? Good night. It's beautiful out. I'm really enjoying this weather. We're very lucky to live here in Colorado. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
All right. Ready?
At Knowledge Pool, we provide innovation tracking and management solutions for research universities. At a research university, you can really think of the scientific efforts as a small R&D hub, where this R&D hub is producing innovations that often underlie many of the technologies that make up our modern world. The typical process at a research university is that a professor or researcher comes up with an idea, and they bring that idea to the technology transfer office. And it's the technology transfer office that converts this into a product. Now, countless products have gone through this process. Who here has held a Gatorade bottle in their hand? How many people are using the internet right now? Imagine if any of these innovations had gone unnoticed. The fact is, many innovations just like this do go unnoticed at a university. Where Knowledge Pool comes in is that we want to provide a software that can help transition the current model so that we can allow the technology transfer office to become an active participant. So moving away from this model where the researcher is pushing the idea to the technology transfer and allowing the technology transfer to play an active role. So by providing them tools to persistently track innovations at any stage and open channels for direct communication, we believe that we can help them capture some of these lost opportunities. So even though the market currently represents just a limited amount of the innovation that comes out of universities, it is still quite significant. More than 300 research universities in America producing thousands of patents that generate billions of dollars of revenue annually. In fact, intellectual property has become so substantial that it makes up a significant portion of US GDP. So we believe that, and after talking with validating some of these ideas with the licensing directors at Colorado State University IP department this weekend, we are certain that not only is this a problem that is a point of pain, but that our solution is highly desired. So before I go any further, I'd like to introduce our lead designer, and he's going to talk us through our product.
So our prototype that we've been working on over the course of this weekend is focused around two key concepts. The first of which is notifications. Notifications are an automated system for analyzing the data that we've collected from these universities, so tracking professors, such as professors we don't have information on, we don't know what they're currently working on, or any sort of upcoming deadlines that we need to be aware of. The next main piece of information that we collect and process is the tasks. And these are for facilitating the communication that the Technology Transfer Office has between the office and the different professors, updating on information that they're working on, following up after conferences, and just generally keeping track of things.
So our business model is a multi-phase growth model in which we plan during phase 0 to be developing a prototype here at Colorado State University. And at phase 1, we plan to switch to a revenue-based model where we will expand into new universities after having validated some of our solutions. So we expect to become revenue positive beginning in phase 2, at which point we should have somewhere between 10 and 20 universities as customers. Now our team, composed of developers, designers, and experts in this domain, positions us well to implement this technology. Our own experience working in the technology transfer at Colorado State University has helped us validate the fact that this is a real problem, a lost opportunity, and that a real solution is going to be highly valuable. So immediately after startup weekend, our plan is to bring a prototype to Colorado State University for validation and immediately begin contacting other universities as potential customers. So I want to invite you all to join us and help make the unknowable knowable. And thank you for your time. I'm open to any questions.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
So, 1, 2, 5. So raise your hand if, because I briefly saw your team slide, who is an ambassador at CSU Ventures? So 2 of you are ambassadors. So I wanted to ask the question, and maybe it's more relevant for the ambassadors, but anyone could answer this, why do you care about this problem?
So this problem is huge because potentially each one of these individual ideas are worth millions to billions of dollars potentially. If not even just a handful of change. But at the same portion, we're not even aware of half of what's going on, 80% of what's going on at the university at large, because we don't know what's keeping track. Our best efforts right now are a go fish mechanism. Send out the ambassadors, a handful of people to go to poster sessions and random things to see if we can figure out what kind of IP is out there. That's all we have.
And as ambassadors, that's one of your main roles.
Right, but that's highly ineffective. We're not very successful at that, even that being one of our main jobs. I mean, we try, but we don't know, and we don't have the potential, we don't have the manpower, we don't have the hours to actively go out there and know exactly what's going on everywhere. And this tool will allow us to capture what we don't know and be able to keep on top of it so we don't let these ideas go floating away.
And let me add to that and say that we are both PhD scientists, so we are also aware of what that other side is, to be the idea generator who wants to, who wants to see these ideas that we dedicate so much of our time to actually have a real impact. And sometimes the technology transfer office is going to be the one that's able to see the commercial value in our ideas.
How long have you worked there?
So 3 years, and this is my first year.
Okay. How many research universities are there in the United States?
Over 300.
I think it was 350?
Yeah, 350 plus R1 through R3 registered universities.
So that number is essentially your
Total
goal of how many customers you like to have.
The total potential markets. I mean, our original goal is to begin at Colorado State University, which has a heavy reliance on agricultural products. In fact, that is the moneymaker for the IP department at CSU. So it makes sense for us to be working to validate this in other universities that are focusing in these areas. And then once we've shown the value that we can bring to this via the metrics of, are we increasing the revenues, are we increasing the rate of completion, the number of patents and our IP generated, then we might take it to the next market, maybe schools that's really focused on medical devices or pharma. So we really want to take this kind of a mouthful at a time, but I really think that there is a large market, and it's not just America. I mean, this is an issue all over the world.
Have you thought about developing this before this weekend then, since you've worked there for so long?
I mean,
Or did it just come up?
we've definitely identified the problems because, as you mentioned, it's kind of our job to help kind of bridge this gap, and so it is something we think about. And
yeah, but we haven't
put
actually
work
done
into this
anything
yet.
until now.
Yeah.
So when you were talking to people at CSU Ventures this weekend, is that who you said you talked to when
That's
you were
right, yeah.
talking to? What was the piece of advice or comment that really sticks out in your mind of what they said to you?
So the thing that stuck out to me is that, yes, a point of pain is, getting ahead of and staying abreast of these innovations so that you can capture them quickly before they, enter the public domain and some timeline starts.
More simply, just communication in general.
Yeah, and that is accomplished via communication. So one of the aspects that we mentioned is establishing open communication. That is pivotal to the personal, tracking the personal relationships that make this work.
Sorry, I'm asking too many questions. Last question, I'm wrong. Is this a CSU problem or a TTO problem?
So from what we've identified, there's no competing software in this area. If any university does have a tracking system, it's homemade, home-rolled, and that really could only exist in like a handful of universities. From what we've identified, it's generally a mixture of emails, spreadsheets, and lost information.
So definitely a tech transfer office problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not exclusive to just.
I think I have a good understanding of where you guys are going with your idea, but can you explain to us a little bit, like how your ideas differ from like other apps out there, such as like Basecamp or anything else that gathered information?
Yeah, so the biggest thing is most project management solutions are for targeting a project that you have a lot of active collaborators on. You have, like speaking from the software side of things, you have project managers, you have developers working together. Our main goal is for tracking a number of projects that we don't have direct access on. We're not going to show up and explain to all the professors, hey, you need to start logging all your changes. This is a tool for dealing with 1,500 professors, up to tens of thousands of different projects by a small team of people.
It's for herding cats.
Yeah.
In Matt's time.
Thank you.
You're welcome to ask after. Like talking, man.
All right.
All right, hello. So you've seen Doyen up on the screen, and I just want to define very clearly. I Googled powerful feminine words, and Doyen was one of the first ones that came up. So why Google feminine words? There are, 73% of females in 4th grade love STEM. They actually perform very well in science. And sometime between 4th grade and graduating high school, that population of well-performing females dwindles down to about 50%. Where can we target the growth? The growth is with parents. It's not so much with the girls. Parents. We can all relate to some parent that wants to see their child succeed. If you're a parent, you know the feeling. If you're a child, you've seen your parents push you to be successful. But what happens if your background is not in STEM? What happens if you're the intimidated parent that doesn't know what to do when your kid asks a question that you don't know how to answer? What do you do if STEM is just not in your vocabulary and you're not comfortable? Why not instead focus on creativity? Why not instead focus on exploring and playing pretend? Doyen, our app, is focused on breakfast brain teasers, which helps parents create a morning ritual. Why not start with breakfast? So let's sit down at the table. Let's sit down at the table and let's ask a question. Let's have a family discussion. The question comes up, and if you need some help following up with your question because you really don't know how to answer the question yourself as a parent, we have hints, which I swear we'll show at some point. So it comes up, just like a text message, and then you get to pick what your answer is. So if you would love to be invisible, go ahead and be invisible. And there's a social aspect as well. So share with your network. If you have other parent friends and their daughters are a similar age, let's share how we're doing. If you need a hint, there it is. You can personalize it to have your daughter's name there, her age, so there's specific questions targeted at age groups, and it connects even further beyond Doyen. So it doesn't just stop with breakfast brain teasers. Oops. Doyen provides learning modules for parents. So you've got your morning ritual down, you've got your breakfast brain teaser down, but what else can you do? What resources can you provide in your home to encourage your daughter to pursue STEM? And beyond those modules, how can you connect to your community? Your daughter needs a mentor. If you're so uncomfortable and intimidated with STEM, find her a mentor. You don't have to be that person. And beyond that, connect with the community. Provide, maybe your daughter goes to school and she shares what she learned in her breakfast brain teaser with kids in her class. Let her be the leader and make sure that community is really there. So like I said, parents want their kids to succeed. We went out to market and we asked, would Doyen, would the breakfast brain teasers, would the modules be helpful for you as a parent? And 91% of parents said yes. And a huge majority of them told us that they were willing to pay $50 to $200 for some time with a mentor, and the mentor would sit there with their daughter and the parent and help create that experience. We had people ask if they could invest and if they could download the app. And I'd like to just point out too that 9% right there, they're just not sure about STEM. So we reached out on Facebook and we targeted moms groups and they came running. That's where we found most of our people. I stepped out for a little while. Here's a little bit of our cost revenue. We want to start out with phase 1. We just need to get this app developed and get it out there and test it and move forward. Our competition, there are no parent-targeted girls in STEM programs out there. We're really working with other extracurricular activities. And there is our team. Did I run out of time?
That was awesome. I'm a big proponent of mentorship, so we'll have to talk soon.
Yeah.
I have a couple questions. If I remember the second one, that'll be great. But first one is there a specific demographic that you guys targeted when you did this research?
Yes, so if you don't capture the attention of middle school girls, by the time they've gotten to high school, their interest is lost and their confidence and their STEM capability is absolutely lost. There is 6 million females in middle school at any given time, so we're targeting the parents of those 6 million females.
Yeah, but then within that, what I mean is what kind of a specific economic class that you would target, because when you look at the statistics as what you have in STEM today,
sure,
it's mostly white, mostly affluent.
Correct.
So how would that app would work for, let's say, a group of people or parents that don't have the money for an iPhone or an Android that can have that app?
Yep. So the low-hanging fruit right off the bat is the parents that are already looking for something for their children to succeed. So be it that they are in Girl Scouts already, and so we would target Girl Scouts, and then Girl Scouts could push this as a partnership. And yeah, it's definitely the helicopter and hovering parents and that sort of thing. So parents that are already looking for something to help ensure their daughter's success.
Okay, second question I remember now. Is this developable towards schools as well, for schools and teachers to use?
So I don't know what the exact number is. We had over 20 people provide us feedback, and I want to say like half of them were teachers. So teachers definitely need that extra, like, not curriculum-based, but project-based, application that they can push to parents as well.
So I think our initial target market offhand would be to parents, but there's definitely a really easy way to grow by targeting teachers as well. And so, we see the first level being the app, but then the next level you'll have these in-person sessions, and like a Saturday at a university partnering with a women in engineer, women in business, and that's certainly something that we could very easily get teachers involved with very quickly and have them sponsor students, particularly like you said in your first question of like lower income brackets, giving them kind of having the teachers identify students like that we could help support.
Thank you.
addressed all my questions with those. We can open it up.
I have one. Can you just clarify the target market for me? Who's your target market?
Who the
Are you
specific
saying
target market is?
everybody, or do you have a more focused target market?
So we know that we want it to be the parents of middle school females, but the target market is these parents. So like there's plenty of parents in any given community that are on Facebook groups already, looking for opportunity to connect and network. And so that's an easy way to just jump in and Facebook target and market to people that are already actively on Facebook.
You mentioned that your app assists in homework questions, and you have a live mentor that comes on. How do you answer maybe from a simple geometry question to like a quadratic equation or?
Yeah, so it's not so much like homework-based questions. It's more of getting girls to be creative. So one example would be, what materials do you need to build a play fort? What would your play fort be called? What are the colors? What are the rules to enter the play fort? Are your parents allowed in the play fort? And just getting girls to think creatively. And another example would be to critically problem solve. So like traffic, how would you solve a traffic issue? Why is it so hard for you to get to school? And having girls do that creative processing and critical thinking is how you then one day connect math and science back to their ability to be creative.
And the thing we're trying to do is inspire parents and give parents the resources in order to help their kids have this creative problem solving, to build this mentality which is what you need to be successful in STEM. So.
Last question.
There are already apps like Brilliant, Girls Who Code, and there are many apps outside. What exactly can put in outside?
What's the difference? So anything that we could find that exists now around girls in STEM is specifically targeted to the girls. So when you send your kid to Girls in STEM, they're coding in camp, whereas this is targeted for parents, and it enables parents to empower their daughters.
Thank you. Perfect timing. That was awesome. Every time I do one of these, even when I've done really well at these events, I'm just blown away at how well everyone does here. I worry about my ability to compete in this market. So sadly, the judges get to do the really difficult, which is run away and deliberate. And this is the toughest job of the entire weekend. I feel for you. I really do. Thank you again for helping, and we look forward to connecting with you in about 20 minutes.
Hopefully it won't be that long.
Let's get our group picture.
Yeah. All right, so can we get all the teams up to the front for a group picture? Yeah? Can we switch the lights up to green as well? All right, teams, judges, coaches, mentors.
Everybody that's involved.
Come on up. Sorry, we're coming back. Come on, I see you. Green.
Joining me like on a knee or something? You want to take a kneel in front? I'll take a kneel.
All right, let's bring it in nice and tight. We're all friends after this weekend.
What's that?
Get over here. Come on. Yeah, come on. All right, I think we got everyone. We got some squeeze in here too. Maybe?
We posted on Adventure. Team Adventure.
Want to take a couple? Do something fun. Yeah.
Serious. Everyone serious. Super serious.
Yes. More serious.
All right, sad. Everyone sad. Sad.
I'm cutting you off.
Sad. All right, happy.
Thank you.
Again, thank you, judges. We look forward to your verdict. All right, so while the judges are out, we're going to go ahead and do crowd favorite. So, what's a good way to do this? Everyone who didn't participate in the event, raise your hand. Everyone who's here as not part of a team, come forward to the front. Yep.
I think we have to come forward.
Come forward. Come forward to the stage. We are going to make your public opinion known. We don't anonymously vote, we vote with our feet. So we are going to count off and move to a corner for the team that we like the most. So who's our first team? Yeah, this is going to get some people into trouble. So our first team was Adventure, and they're going to be in this corner. So if you're, wait for the, you can't abstain, that's not cool. All right, so for Adventure's going to be in this corner. Who was second? What was the second team? You're going to be in this corner. Our third team. This corner. And then our fourth team, Doya, in this corner.
And it's just the one we liked the best.
Yeah, this is the crowd favorite. So, scattered. We have prizes, I believe, that are associated with this. So if no one votes, no one gets anything. Yeah, this is cruel. I know. I shouldn't have done it this way. All right. So for Adventure, let's hear it for Adventure. For Hydromate? Yeah. For Knowledge Pool? For Doyen?
Oh, wait!
There's pride, you're gonna make me pick? You're gonna pick?
I have a split personality, that's how I.
She has to say the name. If she can say the name.
Okay, what is it?
No, the name of the team.
Oh.
She should count. Daughters count. Doyen style. Daughters count.
You know that you're giving up crowd favorites. Whatever. I think you're tied with Knowledge Pool right now. So it's tied up again. So we're still 5-5. All right. So our two remaining teams, we're going to do it by noise of crowd. So come up to the front, and we're gonna do a shout out for it. All right. So Knowledge Pool, come over here to the left. Doyen on this side. Slowly making our way. Some people are just not into a vote. They're like, if I have to walk twice, this might have been the tiebreaker. All right. So by applause, Knowledge Pool. Doyen. I think we got it over here. So Doyen, thank you very much. You guys are the crowd favorite. Congratulations, you did it. So did we learn something this weekend? What did we learn? I know I came around and already asked a bunch of you this on camera, but what did we learn this weekend? Who learned something? What'd you learn?
I learned that it's really hard to pick a name when you're trying to fill out an app, trying to customize it. We spent an inordinate amount of time picking a little girl's name.
I literally go to this site that is random name generator for all my seed projects, things that I haven't started, because you can't name it until you know it's going to go somewhere. It's so hard to pick it. All right, who else learned something this weekend? What'd you learn? You learned how to set up a Philips Hue.
I learned how to set up a Philips Hue, and I just learned about how much of a process it is to actually plan out a business model, your plan to get to market, how much money you're going to make, production costs, everything. I've never really been involved in much business-related stuff, so it's been really interesting for me.
Yeah. All right. How about someone who attended tonight, who learned something from one of the pitches? I didn't know that there were 350,000 research universities in the United States.
I just love that too. Yeah. Where did you quote that statistic?
Yeah, you guys need that stat. You need my really fake stat.
I learned that you can actually buy self-watering plant water.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was really a thing. Like,
Yeah,
really cool.
hydroponics is cool. Aeroponics is even cooler. No soil, and you just like let water flow through it.
Yeah.
All the girl people who know what I'm talking about. Raise your hand. It's really crazy how big marijuana has become as part of our economy here in Colorado. So, who's going to join me in getting a second round of food? I think we could get some more food. Who's up for some food? Food? Food. No chanting. All right. Well, I'm going to let my voice take a break, and we'll be back here in a little bit once we have the verdict. We clap twice. We clap 4 times. 2 times? Ah. Figure out who's paying attention. Ooh. Excuse me, sir. We will get to it as soon as we feel like it. I want to thank everyone for doing this. I want to thank CSU for providing all the extension cords. It is so hard to find enough extension cords to make this setup run. We've got a nice big box of extension cords and some cables. I want to thank you for coming. Communities don't exist without you. So you can go on your own and go fast. You can go with your team and go far. With your community, you can go anywhere. Yeah? Yeah. Not sage advice, no. So I want to, again, thank all the judges and our sponsors. Hybrid panel over here. What else? There's so much to do. I want to thank all the team members for putting up with my mentorship. There's so much information I want to give you, and it's so hard to process it all. And what do you implement? What do you do? So thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being just awesome. Thank you for these presentations. It's so cool to see these things happen. So again, I want to thank Z Catering. Please stand. So I managed to get around to all the teams and get little clips of how much everyone enjoyed the food, and they definitely enjoyed the food. I want to thank the Innosphere for hosting, and Emily, if you could please stand. Thank you again. So what's next? What do we do next? Only 12% are going to keep going, but that's fine. It's okay to set this down and say, this was a little stressful. This took up a little bit too much of my time. I wish I could have slept in a little later on Sunday. It's okay to step away from this, but for the ones that do, you're going to go really far. It's amazing to see some of the success stories that come out of these events. Even for people who don't keep the project going, their next things are very successful. So one of the events that I organized last year had a team that won, and they got to talk to the marketing directors for Kickstarter, and they got some really good information, but the team kind of split up. And then a year later, I ran into Jacqueline, and she had just raised $500,000 for her bra for petite women, and she used the knowledge that she got from that Kickstarter meeting to go on to raise that very quickly. They were shooting for $40,000, and they got $500,000 in a month. It's incredible. Yeah. So keep going. It's nice to take a little break. I would take a day or two before you dive back into it again aggressively. And let me know if you keep going. Find me on LinkedIn, find me on Twitter. I want to know what you guys are doing. I want to help you. I want to make connections for you. I have connections for a lot of you, so please reach out to me. Don't stop learning. There's so much to learn. It sounds so trite, but some people just give up and they just go do their thing and they're just done. They're just like, I'm gonna coast. I'm gonna coast till the end. And it makes me a little sad. I also want to thank Techstars and the umbrella of tools that they provide. So Startup Weekend is a great place to start. Startup Digest is a great place to keep learning, get curated information relevant to your community. And Startup Week is an incredible free event to have that learning experience continue on. And then when you're ready, find an incubator, find an accelerator. Techstars is one of those. They're great. But there's many others, and I'd be happy to talk to you about all of those. Yeah, so more about Techstars. This screen is really small, and I haven't practiced enough. And I told everyone to practice, and now I'm regretting those words. So they have over 3,000 mentors, 23 programs, and they're in 16 cities. They're growing. I know they're growing. They're going to be in more places soon. I'm very excited about some of the new places that they're going, but I won't tell you because I'm not supposed to. Isn't that cruel? So cruel. So cruel. So there are so many other events outside of this little corporate space. One 1 million cups is great. It's kind of brutal. The one in Denver is at 9 in the morning. Please.
For those of you interested in 1 million cups in Fort Collins, my mother runs it. So if you ever want to partake or present or interact with a bunch of people who are connected in the community, just come and see me. I can give you my card and you can reach out to me and I'll help you connect with her.
So the really cool thing about 1 million cups is you can take the presentation you gave tonight, stretch it out another 5 minutes, and then get an hour of feedback, if it's like Denver. Someone else made these slides, and I can barely see them because this is a teeny screen. Would you be willing to help me out?
I was wondering who won, but...
What? No.
But there's Net Impact, Green Drinks, Fort Collins, and 1 Million Cups, and Innovation After Hours.
So who's been to Innovation After Hours? What do you think of it? Tell me about it.
So we've been to most of them this year, and it's absolutely fantastic. Each one of them, it's kind of like a TED Talks, both for Fort Collins and the surrounding area. It's, every one of them is different. If you're not on the email list for the Innosphere, you can go to their website and get on that email list and see all the great talks that are coming through. And there's fantastic companies that are represented in those presentations.
All right, wonderful. So I'm a fish out of water up here, but down in Denver, I run Denver New Tech. So you can go to newte.ch/pitch, and we do a very similar format to this. It's a 5-minute pitch with 5 minutes of Q&A. We do 3 pitches and then panel discussion around something that's relevant to entrepreneurs. And if you're not quite ready after this weekend, you feel like you could. Most of you actually did a really good job presenting, but if you wanted to learn a little more or have another opportunity to practice, I'd be happy to have you join me at Pitch Camp, an event that I organize with Stacy Shaw of Pitch Deck Fire. We do 40 minutes on how to design, build, and present, and then we break into groups and do slide-by-slide feedback. Great event. You can get to that by going to pitchca.mp/next. And then if you just want to come to Denver New Tech, newte.ch/next. That will always get you to our next meetup. Yeah. So make sure to show your community some love. Tweet about this event. I know it's hard when you're in the middle of the event, but make sure to let people know that you're here. And Boulder is doing one of these on the 17th around food. It'd be great to see some of you there. I don't know if I'll be able to make it, but there's a good chance I'll be there. Startup Digest is, again, a great tool. It gives you access to relevant information that's tied to your community. We want to make sure that you can help us improve. So for our participants, we have a survey, and then I'd love to hear anything from anyone in the audience, any way I can make this better. Like getting to who won this thing. Yeah, so Startup Global is happening next weekend. There's going to be 200 plus events happening all over the planet. If you're going to quit your job and fly somewhere to go do a startup weekend, it's the week to do it. So let's go check out that map and figure out where we should go. And now, finally, the moment everyone's been waiting for. After Aiko takes a very long, slow, dramatic pause. And the winners are... Come on, okay.
I'll bring each of the judges up. First of all, I'd just like to continue off of what Aiko said, is be relentless, don't stop, keep going. As you kind of hear from Neil and myself, we got one of our starts was with Startup Week. We were in 35 locations, all within that 1 week time. So it surprised a lot of people. And then we get support by places like Innosphere with Emily Wilson reaching out and helping. But we're just constantly getting out there and getting in front of people, different types of groups. We're involved with 1 Million Cups. We're Realize for Children and Children's Hospital. Just go. Don't stop. That's the key, is be relentless in whatever you do. If you do that and you have that passion for it, you're going to succeed. So and you're going to meet some great people and get some additional team members. While it was with only 4 groups presenting, you would think that it would be even easier to decide of who the clear winner was. We found out that's the opposite of it. You know, if we had a lot more people participating, it would make it much easier for us to decide which one was a clear winner on it. We do have a surprise. There was one prize given out, but collectively, because of our contacts and people we know, and ICO as well, we have something to give out for each one of the presenters today. So each one of you are going to get additional meetups from here that's going to spawn off, and we thought you all did fantastic. So, and that's a testament. She is a big deal, Emily Wilson. So for her to say, hey, each one of these groups did a great job, that means a lot, and I respect her business sense, and her here at the Innosphere, they have several companies. They're not in startup mode. They're developed companies or developed ideas, and they got backing behind them, and they're very strong in the community and in and out of the United States. So just to briefly go over, we'll do some good news first. You know, I'll announce what we decided that each of the groups are going to get with the meetups. Knowledge Pool, you're going to be meeting up with the Innosphere. So I think that's a great union for you, something that works directly where you guys need to be talking to somebody. Adventure, we have a group that Luciano and Seamus in town. It's a connection both Emily has, I have, Neil has in town at the, we used to be housed up at FEC Mesh and Galvanize. We still stay in contact with them. They're very powerful and very knowledgeable, and they bring companies to fruition. Cody's company, LaborJack, has worked with them, and we work with Cody's company as well. He would tell you he's relentless in what they do too. Next, Hydromate. ICO was going to introduce you to Ratio, so I think that's going to help you immensely.
Yeah, and Ratio is also an Innosphere graduate company as well, so we felt that was a good connection to make for you guys. Yep.
And
he's
French, so that's
we don't speak French.
It's okay, you did a pretty good job.
So
I won't be too harsh.
Doyen is we're going to introduce you to something directly we think would make an impact for you. Is the CEO founder of Compass Charter Schools out of Fort Collins. So we knew them before when they were just a startup group and working beside us. You know, when we were downtown Fort Collins, we've been downtown Denver too, working late nights. But when everybody's gone home, you know, who's still working? It's those startup companies that are still grinding away, still working. And Jan Harrison was there, and now her charter school is a reality. So a lot of obstacles to overcome, but that might be a great place for you to present your app to, so, and get some direct feedback. Okay, I'm gonna hand this over to Emily Wilson.
All right, and the winner of the 2017 Fort Collins Startup Weekend is Adventure.
All right. I'll take it.
Cool. We'll give it to Iker.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
It looks great.
Thank you guys. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
I'm always excited to see where teams go. So let's stay connected. Let's keep connected. You can find me on Twitter at lucidpaper, and I'd be excited and happy to talk with anyone. Again, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll be communicating with you as well. But I'm always here to help. I'm always here to make a recommendation. I'm always here to give a reference, help you with financing, pitching, whatever. Let me know. Thank you for being here. We love you. We really do. I love you. Thank you. After party?
Oh yeah, boys. Good job. Thank you so much.